What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to That's a Shoot, a weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. This week, we got a pretty big main topic, along with some pretty big minor topics as well. A lot of stuff to get through, a lot of stuff to get talk about. So just go ahead, let's jump right into it. So, what was going to be my main topic of this episode of That to Shoot? I'll actually start off with it. Is the Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly situations down in NXT. We had War Games this past Sunday, and there was a lot of talk about these being the final things on for Johnny Gargano, for Kyle O'Reilly, and truly an end of an era down in NXT. Johnny Gargano was a part of the War Games. He started the War Games against Carmelo Hayes. Kyle O'Reilly had a tag match with Von Wagner against Imperium, and then afterward the match, Von Wagner tried to turn on Kyle O'Reilly, but he was unsuccessful. We go to Tuesday. There was a steel cage match between O'Reilly and Wagner, where Wagner won, but then after the match, he kind of beat Kyle O'Reilly down and beat him down with the steel cage door. And then Johnny Gargano came out in the main event, spoke about, talk about his things and what he was going to do and things like that. And but then after the match, but during the talk, Grayson Waller hit Johnny Gargano with a chair and kind of beat him up, and he took him down, and he ended up powerbombing him through a table. So, got some really good heat. So that Ciampa heat from a couple years ago. You know, people calling him a piece of shit. The crowd said a piece of shit to him. So very, very good. As I said, on Twitter, very good piece of business from those people. And you can even see, and you could tell it was a good piece of business because Twitter was absolutely pissed off at Grayson Waller for it. So yeah, it was a really, really good piece of business. Um, and afterwards, there were clips from the pictures and from the aftermath after the show, where Johnny Gargano was sitting in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa, and Kyle O'Reilly was out there, and it was hugging um, Shawn Michaels and everything like that. So who knows what was going on at the time. And at the time, you just didn't know. You didn't know. You kind of thought maybe that Kyle O'Reilly was gone because Fish and Cole are in AEW. You figured he would probably go there with them. Um, you didn't know about Johnny Gargano. You didn't know whether he would resign. Maybe he would stay in NXT, or maybe he would resign and take an offer to go to the main roster in WWE, or what the deal was. But last night, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, he reported that Johnny Gargano is completely done with WWE. He did not re-sign a contract with him. Last night at midnight, he became a true free agent. So, and who knows? So who knows the feeling with Johnny Gargano, and what's going to happen to him? For me personally, I don't think he should go to AEW. Just like I said, because I think he will be lost in the shuffle there, because I would think that when the 90-day clause is up, they're going to sign Keith Lee and probably Mia Yim, respectively. I believe that. Um, I would think that who knows about Karrion and Scarlett? There's some talk. There was rumors that Karrion and Scarlett had some heat leaving Impact, so maybe they're not Impact. So I don't know if they would go to AEW or anything like that. I'm not sure. Um, there was like I mentioned, just mentioned Kyle O'Reilly is probably heading his way to AEW as well to at the very least reform Red Dragon with him and Bobby Fish. Um, so you just don't know. So I think so. I think in AEW he'll get caught up in the wash. He really will. He really will because he won't stand out in AEW. He just won't. I think the best place for him to go is Impact. Impact, he'll stand out. So he still be able to do all the things that he want to do, and I think he'll be good down there. Um, is there a chance that he still comes back to WWE? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, maybe, possibly. You never know. But I think that it's kind of over for them. So whatever it is, it's just going to be that. So I would think that with Johnny Gargano leaving, his best spot is an Impact. Kyle O'Reilly, I think, also is going to AEW. But yeah, two NXT guys who spent all of their, not all of their WWE career down there in NXT, and now they're leaving. And I think I think it's best for both of them because we know the edict the WWE is having. They want bigger guys. They want bigger guys. They want guys who are, I'm sure, taller and physically bigger. We're gonna talk about a couple people in a second. For another thing that I have talk about. We're gonna talk about something about this, and you're gonna see what they're what they want. Um, and they hope can have future stars. And you look at the people that brought. You look at the guy Von Wagner. He's tall and big. And you look at the guys that they have with Briggs and Jensen, their tag team, and everything like that. And the Zion Quinn is a monster. And so yeah, they are looking for who they want. Who they want? They were that saying that they were looking for. They didn't want any more indie guys. No more old. No more older wrestlers. No more people starting in their 30s. They want young guys, 25 or younger. And they want big guys. They want guys that could possibly headline a WrestleMania. So, and Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly were never going to main event WrestleMania. You know, it wasn't going to. It just wasn't going to be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was a once in a lifetime, thing. Daniel Bryan was a darn good wrestler, and the crowd get behind him, and they turned stuff around for him. And I think the guys over there, Vince and the crew, they grew to love Daniel Bryan and everything. But I don't think you were. I don't think you would have seen anybody like that gonna be like Dan Bryan like that again. So, um, just probably best for both Kyle and Johnny, and of course for the WWE to move on. Even though there was some talk that they wanted to keep them, but again, I think they wanted to keep them just so that they won't stop going to try to stop them from going to AEW. I think that's the only reason why they were going to keep them. They were probably going to keep them and just probably have them do nothing with them. But it is what it is. So, but my best to Johnny Gargano, my best to Kyle O'Reilly. Um, they've had some memorable moments in NXT, and it was a pleasure to watch them do their thing. Okay, so next up, the WWE, they unveiled their inaugural class of their NIL program. Um, as for some of you that may not know, uh, college athletics started their name, image, and likeness stuff where college athletes could finally make money off of their name, image, and likeness. For years, they could not do that because they were considered to be amateurs and not professionals. But with some states um, doing some making laws that would allow college athletes to make money, and a lawsuit ended up in favor of an athlete that saw them with the name, image, and likeness being used. They won their lawsuit, and they just finally decided to let college athletes be able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. So what the WWE, excuse me, has done is they've created their NIL program. They're calling it Next in Line. And let me read here from this article from WWE.com. WWE has unveiled 15 college athletes who will be among the first to participate in the company's newly formed NIL, name, image, and likeness program that provides a clear pathway from collegiate athletics to WWE. The inaugural Next in Line class includes athletes from 13 universities, 7 NCAA conferences, and 4 sports. In addition to the United States, the class includes representation from myriad countries spanning from Canada to Nigeria. The following 15 athletes joined Olympic gold medalist Gable Stevenson in WWE's first of its kind NIL program. So here are the people. Carlos Aviles from Ventura, California, 6'6", 300-pound track and field athlete from Ohio State University. Haley Cavender of Gilbert, Arizona, a 5'6" basketball player from Fresno State University. Hannah Cavender of Gilbert, Arizona, a 5'6" basketball player from Fresno State. They are twins. AJ Ferrari of Dallas, Texas, 6', 200-pound wrestler from Oklahoma State University. Lexi Gordon of Fort Worth, Texas, a 6' basketball player from Duke University. Aaliyah Hutchins, of Toronto, Canada, a 5'5" track and field athlete from Wake Forest University. John Cron of Riverdale, California, a 7', 400-pound football player from Portland State University. Glenn Logan of Kenner, Louisiana, 6'5", 300-pound football player from LSU. Isaac Odebizian of Lagos, Nigeria, 6'4", 270-pound football player from the University of Alabama. Mason Paris of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, a 6'2", 275-pound wrestler from the University of Michigan. Messiah Russell of Potomac, Maryland, a 5'5" track and field athlete from the University of Kentucky. John Seaton of Hillsborough, New Jersey, 6'1", 285-pound football player from Elon University. Joe Spivak of Lombard, Illinois, go Chicago, 6', 300-pound football player from Northwestern University. Dalton Wagner of Spring Grove, Illinois, 6'9", 300-pound football player from the University of Arkansas. And Riley White of Hoover, Alabama, a 5'6" track and field athlete from the University of Alabama. WWE's NIL program was announced last week following the NCAA's historic new policy that took effect on July 1st, 2021, which has ushered in the NIL era, allowing college athletes the ability to monetize their name, image, and likeness. The comprehensive program serves to recruit and develop potential future superstars and further enhances WWE's talent development process through collaborative partnerships with college athletes from diverse and athletic backgrounds. All athlete partnerships will feature access to the state-of-the-art WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, in addition to resources across the organization, including brand building, media training, communications, live event promotion, creative writing, and in community relations. Upon completion of the NIL program, select athletes may earn an exclusive opportunity to be offered a WWE contract. So, there you have it. As I mentioned, 15 athletes, along with Gabriel Stevenson, who won the gold medal in the Olympics this year. They are part of the NIL program. These are athletes that, as I mentioned, we have the opportunity to work with WWE, and they're not just for being wrestlers, but to do other things as well. As I'm looking up here, I'm looking at some of the people, right? There's a lot of talk about the Cavender twins, Haley and Hannah. Not only are these women basketball players, obviously, but they are influencers as well. They have over 700 Instagram followers between the two. They have a very successful TikTok account. So these are already stars, already people that you know, and now to bring them in, people are calling them the next Bella twins, right? Bring them in into the WWE could be amazing. But as they mentioned, it doesn't necessarily even have to be the fact that some of these can wrestle. If they're gonna learn a lot of other things, they can go into media. Some of these might end up being backstage performers. They might end up being um, you know, um, writers. Is it creative writing? They might end up being writers for the company, or they might not do any of this, and they just might, they might not even work for WWE, but they'll get the training that they'll need and get to maybe go and do other things in other fields if they want to. Maybe the Calendar Twins don't necessarily want to, be WWE superstars. They'll find out that they don't, they don't have the body or the taste for it or whatever, right? Um, but maybe whatever they can take, they'll take on, and once they do graduate college, I don't know if, I read somewhere where they're the top two leading scorers on their team. I don't know if they have. Also, I don't know. I would guess they also maybe don't have aspirations to go to the WNBA since they've signed this thing with WWE. Maybe they do, but maybe if they don't can't do WWE and they can't do WNBA, they can continue on with their TikTok channel and their Instagram stuff and being influencers, and the stuff that they learn from WWE they can use to take that and make even a successful brand of themselves. So a lot of things here. Really quick, I think there's three things that stick out, right? Aside from the Cavender twins, AJ Ferrari, he's 6 foot, 200-pound wrestler from Oklahoma State. The name is already set. They already have that's a great name. He's a college wrestler, and we know that wrestlers, most of them who have a background in the amateur style of wrestling, they can kind of get the business a little bit more than maybe someone who wouldn't be a someone who didn't do wrestling. Maybe a football player, a basketball player, or something like that, right? So maybe they might get the business quicker. Got a great name, it's already set, right? And he is the only one. He's the only male who really isn't like who you wouldn't consider big. As I mentioned earlier, talking about Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly, where they're looking for bigger guys. He's the only guy that's 6 foot 200 pounds. A lot of these guys are 6'6", 6'4". We got John Cron. He's the other one. He's 6 foot 400 pounds, right? He's a football player at Portland State University. I read something on him where he's from another country. And here he is. He's 7 foot, 400 pounds, playing football. Now he's going to be in the WWE. Amazing, And then we got the other guy, Dalton Wagner. He's 6'9", 330-pound football player from the University of Arkansas. Really, 6'9"? I mean, so these are people that are, they're interesting, and I love this. I love this. That it seems to be like a split, on this. There are some people who are, do not like the fact that this is happening, that these athletes are getting the opportunity to do this. They want, they want the WWE to, to get the indie stars, just like they were doing in the past. Get the guys, sign the Seth Rollinses of the world, sign the Johnny Garganos and the Samoa Joes and the AJ Styles. Anybody on the indies, sign those guys and bring those guys in, right? But if they're doing this, because I like this, because I mean the one thing they are is because they're doing things in and they're changing them, right? That's a lot of people are saying. Well, you brought this guy in, but you changed what you like. They talked about that with Keith Lee, right? There's some criticism that they brought Keith Lee in, but then they changed what a lot of people liked about him, right? Well, they didn't find it. But see, that's not what they're trying to, But then you should be okay with this, because these athletes are going to have a base, and they're going to be given, they're going to be given the tools to act and wrestle the way that they would like for them, so that you're not bringing in the indie star and changing them. For what you'll be able to like them from the ground up. And then there's the other side that is like me, who likes this, enjoys it, and think that this is the way to actually do it. This is the way to do it. There's many wrestlers started. We're not, we're not wrestling fans. We're not in the wrestling business. Sting wasn't. Ultimate Warrior wasn't. Lex Luger wasn't. Many others were not in the wrestling business, but they got into it because it intrigued them. It intrigued them. They needed something else to do, and they grew to love it. You know, Lexa Bliss was, I believe she was a fan, but still, she wasn't wrestling. She went to a tryout, got the tryout, made it, and then she's become one of the most successful women to ever, wrestle in the WWE. She's 5-time women's champion. So, you know, for me to just automatically dump on WWE and dump on these athletes, for this happening, I think it's tremendously short-sighted and absolutely dumb. And listen, probably out of this first class, 15, maybe 2 or 3 might actually become anything special. That's normally how it is. Maybe 2 and 3 would actually become something special. Maybe there'll be another 2 and 3 who will become good hands. But then maybe the other 8 to 9 won't make it. They won't, like I said, they'll drop out, or they'll go on to do other things or anything like that. There might even be a couple that they won't make it with WWE, but they like the business, and then they'll go on and do it, and find some other way to get into the wrestling business. So, it is what it is. But this NIL program, next in line for WWE, is such a good thing. I don't see how anyone could bitch and complain about this. I love what this is, and I love what they're doing. And congratulations to these 16 athletes, including Gable Stevenson. Actually, it's Gable Stevenson. I got you just want to say Stevenson because that's just how it is, but it's Stevenson. Gable Stevenson and these 15 athletes who are the part of the inaugural class of the Next in Line program from WWE. This is going to be, I think, an awesome thing. Tomorrow night could be the final pay-per-view, final event of Ring of Honor. Final battle, 2021, happens tomorrow night. I went to a Ring of Honor show in 2006. A friend of mine, Eric, he took me there, and I enjoyed the show. I said that if you were not a wrestling fan, if you went to the show, you would leave a wrestling fan. That's how good that show was, right? So yeah, really good. And the Ring of Honor was great, and it has given us many stars over the time. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, and Roderick Strong come from there. Adam Cole. I've mentioned them in the past. CM Punk, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish were there. Many stars came from Ring of Honor, and wrestled there. So to see it to end is it's unfortunate. It really is. It seems to be maybe some bad work by the parent company Sinclair. That's why Ring of Honor unfortunately has to leave. But and they said they want to come back for April. There's a show in April around WrestleMania they want to do. So we'll see. Let's see if that does happen. It does continue. It's been thought that if it does come back, that it'll be nobody on contracts. They'll just sign people to work the certain shows, and that's how it'll go. So we will wait and see about that. But yeah, Ring of Honor's last show is last night. So those of y'all who didn't know, there you have it, and you have the info to go out and find it and watch it. So good luck to those out there working for Ring of Honor, and go break a leg. That's it's a saying. I'm not being a dick. Just good luck. So one last quick thing before we get to the main topic of this show. Um, NXT One Games this past Sunday was the final show for WWE of this year. So as we went back in 2021 predictions, we look back at the Royal Rumble. I went 5-2. At NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, I went 5-1. Elimination Chamber, I went 4-2. Fastlane, I went 5-2. NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 1, 3-2. NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 2, 4-2. WrestleMania 37 Night 1, 6-2. WrestleMania 37 Night 2, 5-2. WrestleMania Backlash 6-0. NXT Takeover In Your House 2021 5-1. Hell in a Cell 4-3. Money in the Bank 7-0. SummerSlam 8-1. NXT Takeover 36 5-2. Extreme Rules 5-2. Crown Jewel 6-3. Survivor Series 4-7, and NXT War Games 4-1 for a combined record of 91-31. 60 games over 500 for your boy. Incredible. Last year, I was 88-33. 55 games over 500. So in a year's time, I got 5 matches better at predicting. And it's going to be good. I'm going to continue this in 2022. I have decided that I'm not going to change too much. I think I'm just going to keep it the same because there was some part of me I was thinking, do I want to add, a double counter or a double DQ to it? And I think what I'm just going to do is just that I'm going to add another category of maybe of a push, so that if there is a match, for instance, day 1, January 1, which I will be watching, I will be here New Year's Day night to review it and everything like that here on the channel. If the match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, which I will be choosing Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, if it ends in a double DQ or a double countout, that's going to be a push. That would be a push. So I could end up being 5 or 6-1-1, let's say. 6-1-1, with that one being that push between Roman Reigns and so that's what the double countouts and double disqualifications are going to end up counting as a push, or a no contest. That's going to end up being a push. But I'm going to continue to do the winners, picking the winners and picking the losers, and that's all. Every now and then. I don't know if it's something that I can stay with, but every now and then I might throw in an extra credit question just for fun. Like I tried this year, I tried to do it on a regular basis. I would forget most of the time, but yeah, I want to try it. Maybe every now and then I would throw in an extra credit question for fun. But for mostly, it's going to be when you come back in 2022. It's going to just be continue to be predicting the winners of each match. Okay, so now to our main topic for this week's show. Jeff Hardy was released by WWE yesterday. Reported first by Sean Ross Sapp for Fightful.com. Um, it seems like that. Well, let's go back to earlier, earlier in the week or over the weekend or whenever it was. Um, there was a show where Jeff Hardy looked sucked down. There was reports of him looking sluggish and looking, maybe even almost out of it. During the match, he tagged out. He made the hot tag to Drew McIntyre, and he then at that point left the ring and hopped over the barricade and went walking through the stands, being escorted by security. The match was won by the babyface. It was him, Drew McIntyre, and King Woods versus the Bloodline, and so they won. But he didn't come back to celebrate. And originally, it was thought that he had a bad night. He had a bad night, but then there's some more rumors that maybe it was more than just a bad night. With Jeff's history, maybe they were thinking it was actually something else. There's a lot of fans were thinking, and so I think everybody just really enjoys Jeff Hardy and really likes what he's done in the past, and the fact that he's given up his body for us sees us. You can tell right now at 44, I believe is his age, 44. He can barely, you know, he can barely do the things that he used to do. It seems like, but he's out there still giving it like his all. And he was just on like the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions, saying that he wanted to do more, and he wanted to do more, and so it was so crazy. Even there was even some point where he had been, I forget it. I don't know if it was Austin or if he was talking to somebody else, but he came up with this ridiculous concept of the ring would spin. The two wrestlers in the ring would have to try to wrestle while the ring was spinning, and whatever. But so yeah, but it came out yesterday that WWE released Jeff Hardy. Apparently, WWE wanted Jeff Hardy to get some help and go to rehab. Jeff Hardy declined, so they released him. And so yeah, it's not good. Matt has said that Jeff Hardy was fine, and his wife also said that Jeff was fine. I was listening to a podcast earlier. Let me see really quick if but there was some they had mentioned. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. I don't so I don't want to say what it was, but yeah, the main thing is that Jeff Hardy was released, and unfortunately, addiction, it's a fight. It's a fight every day for people who have addictions, whether that is to drugs or alcohol, weed, you know, whatever. It is something that is powerful, takes control of your life, and those that beat their addiction, it's incredible, and it shows us how strong of a person that they are, that they can beat their addiction. Wonderful, right? And maybe so. Jeff Hardy was one that he finally did it, because uh, there was this thing when the Hardys first came back. I believe there was something. There were maybe maybe Jeff had he had he'd been arrested for maybe driving drunk or something like that when they first came back to the WWE, but I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. But this is what it is, and I mean Jeff has said this one time before. He it's the He likes to get high off of life, right? He has all these things that he wants to do and all these things that he does that just intrigue him. And and maybe not knowing this because I've never been addicting. I've never done any drugs in my life or anything like that. But maybe when that high off of life is no longer there, maybe you need to get that other that high from somewhere else, and then that's where the substance abuse comes in. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. And again, I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were reminiscing over their favorite Jeff Hardy moments, and it was I think like for me, I can remember Jeff Hardy being the job guy. Jeff Hardy. Here's already in the ring. Jeff Hardy coming down the aisle, Razor Ramon, and apparently, he was 14, 15 years old doing that in like 94, 95. Same thing with Matt. They were job guys, and then they finally got a contract, and they went to that place up in Stanford, and the Funk Dojo with Dory Funk Jr. And then it became a big part of the television in the 96 part, 96 and not 96, 90, 97, 98. Remember they were teaming and they were being managed by what's his face, Michael Hayes. And they got rid of him, and they went to the Grand Grill, was part of the Brood, and then they had that ladder match at No Mercy um, between Edge and Christian themselves, and it was just incredible. And they became stars, and off of that, and it took off from there. And the Hardy Boys became one of the biggest tag teams of all time, they obviously inspired teams like the Young Bucks and inspired other teams. And so yeah, and Jeff was a part of it. He was a big part of that. And then when they went the separate ways and tried to make Jeff a single, Jeff had his problems even back in the day. Obviously he was. They split him and Matt up, and Jeff was just having some problems, and he got released, and he went to TNA. He went to TNA for a little while, and I think he regained his love of the business there and everything like that, and then he came back to WWE, and he even became WWE champion for a little while, and he became the World Heavyweight Champion as well. Then he had that thing with CM Punk, and then he left again, and they went to TNA again, and of course we know that was shortly afterwards. He had that unfortunately dreadful scene for in that match with Sting, where he was all fucked up, and they changed it on the fly. I still don't know how they let him out there like that. Apparently, they said they looked at him and they asked him was he good and everything like that, and they still let him out there. And then they fought when they finally realized, oh, we fucked up. They went out there and they had they had Eric Bischoff do the tell him what to do, and Sting hit the jump drop and he pinned Hardy and didn't let him up. So that was insane. And Jeff Hardy said that's one of the things that he obviously just think he regrets the most. He said that on the Broken Skull sessions. That's the thing he regrets the most of that match because he let down so many people. And he's trying to make up for it. And so yeah, it just is what it is. For me, he, I could care less about what he does in the future or anything like that. If he has any, if he has any other plans for the future, again, I just want him to be safe and healthy, and I want him to be there for his wife and his kids and his brother and his nephews and all of his family and all of his friends and all of his fans that adore Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy is still an incredible person in this business that people root for, and including myself. And I am rooting for Jeff Hardy to just be healthy, and that's what I root for. And I hope you guys will root for Jeff Hardy to be healthy too. We love you, Jeff. All right, y'all. That's gonna be it for this week's That's a Shoot. We got 2 more That's a Shoots this year. Next week we got a That's a Shoot, and then we got the That's a Shoot WWE Awards edition that will be coming probably later on the year, the 29th or 30th, something like that, of this year. We give out awards to things like Performer of the Year, Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, yada yada yada. We do those things. We celebrate the year in WWE, and we remember those that we lost this year as well. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. Click the notification bell so that anytime I put out a video for That's a Shoot, or I go live, rep reaction after a pay-per-view, or anytime I do any other video, you can make sure and you can get a notification for that video as well. So yeah, make sure you click the notification bell. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys feel about Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly. When I was looking for the thing about Jeff Hardy, there's already a report where people within WWE feel that both Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano will come back. So who knows? But let me know what you guys think. And you guys think about the NIL program with WWE. How you feel about that? Let you know what you feel about Ring of Honor's final battle tomorrow night. Any thoughts on that? If you have any thoughts on my predictions as well, you can go ahead and give those as well. And of course, if you have any thoughts, memories, comments, anything you want to talk about when it comes to the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy, you can do that as well. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.